PFT PM Posse, would a Jonte Porter type scandal in the NFL actually turn the league on its head, or would it be like every other scandal and be a blip on the radar unless you regularly and consistently consume PFT? Again, that's from our good friend, the PFT PM Posse account. I think if there's a Jonte Porter type scandal in the NFL, and Jonte Porter is the player from the Toronto Raptors who allegedly had gambling debts, and in order to pay off the debts, he agreed to leave a couple of games early. These are allegations, but I think the NBA found enough. Well, the NBA found enough to ban him for life. But, I don't want to get myself sued unnecessarily. If I'm going to get myself sued, I'm going to do it on purpose, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm just summarizing what happened with Jonte Porter. Allegedly left games early to ensure that his unders on his prop bets hit. And that's the one area, a single player can't make the outcome of a game change. It would be hard to do it and have it be inconspicuous. The spread, the money line, that's hard to do. It's easier for a running back, a receiver, a quarterback, a tight end, a skill position player who has prop over unders to, leave early. Or the controversy last year, the Bijan Robinson didn't play much in the Falcons game against the Buccaneers. And I don't know how thoroughly that's been explored, but that pissed off a lot of people who had bet on Bijan Robinson to hit his overs and also relied on him to be a workhorse for a fantasy football team. And he's not even on the injury report with an illness, and he barely plays. So, yeah, if that would ever happen, especially with a star player, that would be a problem. I just feel like the NFL is just dodging bullets that the other sports are taking. And I know that there's been some scandal in the NFL as it relates to gambling, but guys getting suspended for gambling when they're not around the team, like Calvin Ridley, he wasn't playing when this happened. I mean, at some point, there's going to be a scandal with somebody who's playing, somebody who's betting on his team, maybe betting on his team to lose, or somebody who is connected to a scam for his unders and he's embellishing an injury or an illness and tapping out. We saw it happen with Jonte Porter. The NFL needs to be ready for it. And one of the various fiction projects that I've worked on over the past few years is kind of a cautionary tale that focuses on a backup quarterback, a member of the mob who's corrupted him. I don't want to go too far down the plot. It's actually, given that I wrote it, it's actually not bad. Trying to figure out what to do with it, exploring options with publishers. I like the idea of controlling the rights to my own stuff, owning my own stuff, producing my own stuff. I get to do the cover. I get to do the format. I get to do everything. There's still something to be said for having your book in every single bookstore in the country. I learned that with Playmakers. So anyway, I want the NFL to get an idea of what they could be dealing with so they'll take appropriate actions to avoid it. Because I just don't think, I mean, if we're going to quote Lord of the Rings as we did with Aaron Rodgers, I think of the line from the Fellowship of the Rings. Yeah, okay, I'm fine. What a shock. He's a nerd. When Aragorn asks Frodo if he's frightened and he says yes, he says not frightened enough. I think of that when I think of the NFL, because they can say they're concerned about the impact of gambling on the integrity of the game, et cetera. They're not nearly concerned enough. All right. JC, if Tua decides to play for $23 million and plays about the same as last year, do you think the price tag will go up for the Dolphins? Yeah, it will. It will. The thing with Tua, just to summarize, there's what he wants, what he can get, and what he has. He has $23.1 million. He can get whatever the Dolphins put on the table before training camp or the start of the regular season. What he wants is a market value contract. The point I've been making is, will he hold out to get what he wants? Because he's going to have to choose before training camp, I believe, between what he has and what he can get. And it's a gutsy move to go forward with 23-1 if they're offering you 40, 45 in new money and financial security, full guarantee for 2 years, injury guarantee for another year or two after that. Hard to play for only 23-1 and leave that on the table and go out there and be effective when you know you've had multiple concussions, there are injury concerns dating back to college. That's why I think he might hold out, because they're going to put him in a box. Hey, we know you've got these injury issues, and if you want to get protection for them, you've got to take our offer that isn't close to what you want. So what are you going to do? Well, I'll hold out until I get what I want. I'm not saying that will happen, I'm just saying keep an eye on the possibility. Another one from JC. Could Deshaun Watson win comeback player of the year? He fits the new criteria. Yeah, he could. He could. If he plays like he did in 2020 this year, he'll be a candidate for comeback player of the year. The big question, the big unknown going into this season is, what's Deshaun Watson going to be? Can he stay healthy? And if he stays healthy, how good can he be? All right. I got to wrap this up. So I'm looking to see what we have here. Zachary Bennett, why do you think the Chiefs have had so many off the field issues? It seems like this is a record amount of arrests and overall bad PR, even though it's probably not. It's not. It's glaring because it's the Chiefs. It's a couple of guys who've had multiple issues. Then there were a couple of guys who got arrested for marijuana possession. Who the hell cares? I mean, it's 2024. It's legal in most of the country. Who the hell cares about marijuana possession? But Isaiah Buggs, Rashee Rice, that's been the problem. And somebody asked me, why didn't they just cut Isaiah Buggs? The affidavit came out last week. We talked about the allegation that he broke into an apartment with a tire iron, allegedly dragged the mother of his children downstairs. Why didn't they already cut him? I think they're concerned that if they cut him, it becomes more glaring that they didn't do anything with Rashee Rice. It's all happening too quickly. That's my spitball that may be completely off the mark, as it often is. One more from our good friend Tom Marshall, known on X as A Red Zona UK. It only took me about 10 years to figure out how to properly do that Twitter handle. You get 2 questions to Aaron Rodgers. Truthful answers only. What do you ask? I know it'll never happen, but humor me. One, do you believe 9/11 was an inside job? If I'm getting truthful answers, do you believe 9/11 was an inside job? Because according to Deshaun Kaiser, Rodgers has suggested that. 2, do you believe Sandy Hook was an inside job? Because remember, when that bubbled up, the things he had said to Pamela Brown of CNN at the Kentucky Derby in 2013, he was very careful in how he addressed it. He doesn't deny that it happened, which is smart if you do any research whatsoever on what Alex Jones is going through, but it can still have been something that happened but was an inside job by the government. Those 2 questions would give us an idea of what's really going on in this guy's brain, because I don't care about his football career at this point. He has a year or 2 left. This guy's positioning himself, I believe, for a career in politics, and I want to know how this thinks. I want to know what's really going on in here. I've seen enough flashes to make me concerned. Answer those 2 questions. Do you believe 9/11 was an inside job by the government? Do you believe Sandy Hook was an inside job by the government? If the answer to both of those truthfully was yes, I think that would tell a lot of us everything that we need to know. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.